Hold on, before you get excited about that $5,000 stimulus check everyone's talking about, there's something crucial you need to know that could save you from major disappointment. In this video, I'm going to break down the real truth behind the so-called $5,000 stimulus payment for Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA recipients. You'll discover the actual eligibility requirements that most people are getting wrong, the shocking reality about how much money you might actually receive, and why the timeline everyone's expecting is completely off. Stay until the end, because I'll reveal the one critical factor that determines whether you qualify, and it's not what you think. Plus, I'll share a resource that could save you thousands on Medicare costs that most seniors don't even know exists. Welcome to Financial Area, where we cut through the confusion to bring you the financial facts that matter. If this information helps you, smash that like button and subscribe for more money-saving insights that actually work. Let's start with what everyone's getting wrong about eligibility. The biggest misconception floating around social media and even some news outlets is that if you receive Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, you're automatically eligible for this stimulus payment. That's simply not true, and believing this myth could leave you planning for money that will never arrive. The key requirement that most people are missing is that you must be what's called a net federal tax contributor. Now, what does this actually mean? It means that over the course of a year, you need to pay more in federal taxes than you receive back in refunds and credits. This isn't just about whether you file a tax return. It's about whether you're actually contributing money to the federal government rather than receiving more than you pay. Here's where it gets tricky for people on fixed incomes. Just because you receive Social Security doesn't mean you don't pay federal taxes. Many Social Security recipients do pay taxes on their benefits if their total income exceeds certain thresholds. For individuals, if your combined income is more than $25,000, or for married couples filing jointly, more than $32,000, you'll likely owe federal taxes on a portion of your Social Security benefits. The same principle applies to other benefits. SSDI recipients may pay taxes if they have additional income sources. VA disability benefits are generally not taxable, but if you receive VA benefits and have other income, you might still be a net tax contributor. SSI recipients, however, rarely pay federal income taxes since SSI is designed for people with very limited income and resources. But here's what's really confusing people. The assumption that being on federal assistance automatically disqualifies you. That's not necessarily true either. The determining factor isn't whether you receive government benefits, it's whether you contribute more to the federal treasury than you receive back in the form of tax refunds and credits. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you're a Social Security recipient who also has a part-time job or receives pension income. Your total income for the year is $35,000. After all deductions and credits, you end up paying $2,000 in federal income tax, plus you pay taxes on a portion of your Social Security benefits. In this scenario, you could potentially qualify as a net federal tax contributor, even though you're receiving Social Security. On the flip side, consider someone who works part-time, earns $20,000 a year, receives the Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and ends up getting back more in refunds than they paid in taxes. This person, despite working and not receiving major government benefits, would not qualify as a net federal tax contributor. The reality is that most people receiving SSI and many receiving Social Security or SSDI as their primary income source likely won't meet the net federal tax contributor threshold. This significantly reduces the number of people who would actually be eligible for any stimulus payment. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, this $5,000 amount that everyone's fixated on. I need to be brutally honest with you. The chances of anyone receiving $5,000 are extremely slim, and here's why. The $5,000 figure comes from early discussions about something called a DOGE dividend. This concept was tied to potential savings from government efficiency improvements. The idea was that if the government could reduce spending and eliminate waste, a portion of those savings would be returned to taxpayers as a dividend payment. The original proposal suggested that taxpayers might receive a 20% share of any savings generated through these efficiency measures. However, when you actually run the numbers based on realistic projections, the math tells a very different story. Government budget experts have estimated that even if significant savings were achieved, the amount available for distribution would be far less than what's needed to provide $5,000 per household. Based on various calculations from policy analysts, a more realistic figure would be around $500 per eligible household. That's a massive difference from the $5,000 that's been circulating on social media. But even that $500 figure comes with a huge caveat. These calculations assume that the government efficiency measures will actually produce the projected savings, which is far from guaranteed. Government cost-cutting initiatives often face significant hurdles, including legal challenges, implementation delays, and unforeseen complications that can reduce or eliminate projected savings entirely. Think about it logically. If the government were prepared to distribute $5,000 to millions of households, we'd be talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. That's not a decision that gets made quietly or without extensive congressional debate and approval. The fact that there's been no major legislative action or appropriation for such a massive expenditure should tell you something about the likelihood of receiving such a large payment. Furthermore, the timeline that many people are expecting is completely unrealistic. The earliest any such payment could potentially be distributed is after July 4th, 2026. That's not next month, not next year, but over a year away. And that assumes everything goes perfectly with implementation, which government programs rarely do. Why July 4th, 2026? That date is tied to when the efficiency measures would theoretically have had enough time to generate measurable savings that could be calculated and distributed. But even this timeline is optimistic, considering the complexity of implementing large-scale government reforms and accurately measuring their financial impact. The sustainability of such a program is also highly questionable. Even if initial savings are achieved, maintaining those savings year after year is a different challenge entirely. Economic conditions, changing political priorities, and unforeseen circumstances could all impact the government's ability to continue generating the savings needed to fund ongoing dividend payments. Here's what's particularly concerning. Many people are making financial decisions based on the expectation of receiving this $5,000. They're delaying necessary purchases, avoiding debt payments, or not pursuing other financial opportunities because they're counting on money that may never materialize. This kind of financial planning based on speculation rather than certainty is dangerous and could leave people in worse financial shape than when they started. So, what should you do with this information? First and most importantly, don't make any financial plans that depend on receiving this stimulus payment. Treat any potential payment as a pleasant surprise rather than an expected income source. If you're currently receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, focus on maximizing the benefits and resources that are actually available to you right now. There are numerous programs and opportunities that can provide immediate financial relief or savings rather than hoping for a speculative future payment. For Social Security recipients, make sure you understand how working while receiving benefits affects your payments. Many people don't realize they can earn additional income without losing their Social Security benefits, especially once they reach full retirement age. This could be a more reliable way to increase your income than waiting for a stimulus check that may never come. SSDI recipients should be aware of the Ticket to Work program, which allows you to test your ability to work while keeping your benefits and Medicare coverage. This program provides a safety net that lets you explore employment opportunities without risking your disability benefits. For SSI recipients, understanding the various exclusions and work incentives can help you improve your financial situation within the program's rules. Many SSI recipients don't take advantage of programs like PASS plans for achieving self-support that can help them save money for specific goals while maintaining their benefits. VA benefit recipients should ensure they're receiving all the benefits they're entitled to. Many veterans aren't aware of all the programs available to them, from vocational rehabilitation to home loan benefits that could provide more substantial financial impact than any stimulus payment. One area where many people on these programs can see immediate savings is with their Medicare costs. This is particularly relevant for Social Security and SSDI recipients who are Medicare eligible. Many seniors are overpaying for Medicare coverage because they don't understand their options or haven't reviewed their plans recently.